Is your chair right? Is your chair right? That's why we're going to talk to you. Y'all ready? Sharon, you ready? Can y'all see me in here? Tell them Chief is coming on in. Come on, come on. All right. Y'all know what I have here. I'm going to put it down here. Y'all know Chief. She got her equipment with her. How y'all doing out there? Y'all hear me loud and clear? Send me some fire. I'm happy to see you too. Y'all know I'm past 25. Let me get this thing ready, be a little closer so I can double check. All right, y'all see we got somebody sitting in the chair tonight. She ain't even in the hot chair. She born in the hot chair. Yeah. Y'all remember now, she ain't out there in the hot chair. Uh-oh. Yeah, turn my volume down, y'all. All right, I gotta be able to see y'all. I just lost y'all. Now, what was my little double check? Here we go. Now I have y'all ready. All right, Cooking with Chief, serving up history. Y'all been waiting for this day for quite a while. Y'all see we have books on the table and all kind of stuff. And y'all see my guests over there. I used to look like that, y'all, about 20-some years ago. You know, she beautiful? Yes, she is. All right, y'all know we Indians don't wait for nobody to tell us we pretty. Y'all know y'all arrogant too. We pretty. All right, here we go. I see fire coming. I'm gonna answer some stuff later on some questions from last night. Internet's still giving us a little problem. I talked with Phoenix about it earlier today. That's not my equipment, is the internet. So if we get knocked off, we're gonna come back on. That sound good, team? Y'all with me out there? If you can hear me loud and clear, send me some fire. And if y'all want to, the lady sitting on the side of me that I told you is beautiful. That's nothing but my firstborn. Yes, Lord. And we're gonna send her some love. She need to see how my audience just. Y'all so sweet. Send her some love. Let her know y'all glad she did all what she did, made it here to the studio. So I told her relax over here. We don't have all that crazy stuff going on. Okay, I can't see what somebody's saying. Y'all heard what she said? She's not the talker now. There you go, your hearts nodded. All right, sign spirit. That's right, send us some hearts. Y'all, she's not no talk show host, okay? She is a civil rights leader though, but she was one of the quiet civil rights leaders. When I mean quiet, she good one-on-one in a group in person, but she's not a camera person. All this light, camera, mics. So y'all give her a little love. She don't know nobody names hardly. She just met Phoenix today by telephone. All right. So y'all help welcome her, and she's seeing her welcoming going up. There go your welcoming, Nadia.
Thank you.
And I love y'all too. But we're gonna have fun tonight. Y'all see these books over here. All right, Phoenix sent you some brown hearts. There you go, Phoenix. Nothing but love from the color, huh, baby? Some of that copper-colored love. All right. We got both kinds now, y'all. We not the bleeding hearts, but we have that copper color heart. And we're going to be talking about that copper color tonight. I'm letting all y'all come on in and tell everybody we on here. What's the numbers we got in here, y'all? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Come on in. Come on in. All right. We're going to give Nadia some welcoming for a moment. I have my son-in-law sitting over there on the side. I told him you better be on standby. They don't understand. I don't mind pulling up another chair. Because we want to know what they seen when they went to Spain. I wasn't there. Okay? All Indian jazz, thank you. All them, look at them copper color hearts coming up there. Look at them. Y'all, thank y'all again for getting us over to 5,000. I told Phoenix, I'm starting to learn from American Indian. Okay, American Indian, I'm going to come back at you tonight. Why don't we get everybody that helped to get here to get one more person to subscribe so we double the numbers, her get to that 10,000. Because someone threw that 10,000 back at me. So I'm like, okay, she knows it. So American Indian, I like what you said, but we're going to have some more help this time. If each one of us get a person to subscribe doing this live, our numbers are going to get up. And if we don't meet it now, we'll meet it before the week is out. Because each one of us can pledge, is enough of us for each one of us to get one person besides ourselves to subscribe. If we're going to build this network, we got to really work. And reaching out to get one more person at a time, or one person a week, that's a whole lot better than being a foot soldier marching and protesting. Nadia is here. I want to touch on that. I know y'all want to get to Spain, but I got to be real with you. She didn't just go to Spain. She had a lifestyle. She was doing homework on the back seat of the station wagon. You got to put work in to get something. I'm out there working from one community to the other, one drug corner to the other. She doing her schoolwork in an old raggedy station wagon. I told y'all, I want y'all to really know, Chief. Everybody is a leader. You remember Reverend Ernst used to call everybody leader. And if we start seeing ourselves individually as a leader, now you wanted to be a lawyer. Reverend Alexander called her a professor. From a baby, she was being called, hey, professor. You can speak things into existence. That's how powerful the word is spoken. So now you have a lot of older people in the community. Everybody put such a high demand on her, a high expectation. She's trying to live up to that expectation. See? But if nobody puts high expectation on you, you don't feel you got to reach that. So we have to put high expectation on ourselves. When Nadia was in school, if somebody was smarter than her, that was her competition. She's like, oh, no, I can't let that one do it. No, she can't be number one. I'm number one. And she always strives to be number one. If we want this to be the channel that reach out for the copper-colored, the American Indians that's dark, the indigenous, the black Indians, whichever one you want to call and identify, you got to reach for that star. We have a channel here, we're networking, and we can reach a lot of people. But the good thing is you don't have to have a flyer. Nadia was used to me with a poster board. I'm fired up, fed up, now I ain't gonna take it no more. The bullhorn. See, you heard the bullhorn. This is my new bullhorn. I see. It's the new bullhorn. I'm not doing nothing new. It's just got a little more in-house, you know. Mm-hmm. Dealing with arrogant people and battering them down to see the best for themselves. You saw me do that in person. But I'm doing the same thing here. So what I want y'all to know, I don't have to introduce myself to Nadia. She don't have to introduce herself to me. We are not here to prove to each other nothing. We know each other. But what I want you to know, Nadia grew up knowing who she was. So before we talk about Spain, you don't want to just hear about Spain and you don't know who she is. You don't know where she come from, what she stood for then and what she stand for now. And it haven't been easy. It's hard being a civil rights leader's child. You have to go to school with that. Mm-hmm. With me on TV every day on the front page of the newspaper, all the newspapers. That's painful. Because she had to pay the consequences for me fighting for everybody. Do y'all understand? But one thing she can say, looking back, Mama's still doing what she was doing back then. Now, I'm not a school teacher, I tell y'all that. But I teach a lot of people. So we got to stop thinking just a school teacher have the power of knowledge to teach. Every day, whoever we come in contact with, we are a school teacher. Another thing we talked about, Nadia, on here is the danger of school right now, especially in America. Mm-hmm. You got to get involved so you can clean up your communities. I don't want my daughter in this classroom where your 6-year-old can bring a gun to school. Y'all read where I'm at? My kids grew up with guns in the house, but they knew what it was for. And it was about their daddy gonna come in and go hunting, or your brother's gonna go hunting. The guns wasn't in there because we're going to use that against the people or take it into fights. You never saw us bring a gun into battle.
Never.
I used to tell people I load my gun. That's this. I load it here and I shoot it here. That's been my slogan forever. And that bullhorn, that was like the part you put on that make the bullet get just a little farther out so people can hear it. I still have that, Nadia. These microphones and this channel. And it can cover more areas than I could cover back in the days. What if, and my son-in-law said it earlier before we came in, what if this was the setup when we had the Dr. Lowrys, the James Orange, the Ted Quartz, the Avery Alexander, and Mr. Wales? Look how many people they could have reached around the world.
I was laughing with Troy the other day. I said, our paths are crossing. The more that I kept saying, oh, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. And now look at us sitting at the table together.
Did y'all hear? I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
She said, Mama, you work hard for free.
I don't want to do that.
And nobody appreciate what you do. And then you're a daddy, take the money, put it in the community, and the people talking about us. She said, I don't want to do that. And you heard what she just said? It's so funny. She's sitting on the other side. But I am proud of one thing. I'm glad you did decide to go make your money and your income. Because you could always come back and do this and do it even more comfortable than the way we had to do it. We had to make up our mind. Do you want to pay the light bill, the phone bill, or make that trip to help somebody? And you know normally it was going to be make that trip. Then you narrow it down. Do I have enough to at least pay the light bill? So just let the telephone get cut off. We let that go. We went through that. But if you're out there thinking you're going to help the community, and it's about what you're making and how much you have in your pocket, that's what I was telling you last night. That's leadership. Leadership have to reach in their pocket more than anything. And if, I feel good that my daughter said, look at our paths crossing and we sitting across from each other. She did say it, don't want to do that.
Don't want to do it. And our paths are crossing and it's inevitable. It's like.
It's constantly happening.
Right.
And I laughed at her and she's laughing at herself. But I knew that's not what she wanted to do. Because she saw the pain of it.
Even with this information.
How many times you supposed to pick this up?
Educational research and you just happen to say, hey, when you go here, look for this. When you go here, look for that. And it's the same information that we both needed.
See what I'm saying? So I always told her God had a promise for her. She had a mission. So I got her in class in Spanish. Wow, what we got here? Can't see the name, call it out, Sharon.
Timona.
I am the super predator.
All right. Thank you for the super sticker, $20. Nadia would tell me all the time, I'm going to do anything opposite of this because she saw the pain was so bad and the sacrifice was so great. But the funny thing is when she began to travel, I'm like, when you go to Italy, you need to look for this for me. You go to France, I need to look over there for this. Now, this is the thing with me now. She loved to travel.
And I love museums.
Y'all hear that?
I absolutely love
museums. And she know from kids, when we travel, we were going to look for, whenever people take their kids to Disney.
We went to museums, monuments.
That's what we went looked at.
Yeah.
When we hit a town, we went in looking for the history. And Rabbi Alexander used to say, if you want to find the black folks, go on the other side of the railroad track. When you find the railroad track in any state, you'll find the people that was originally there. That's what we had to go look for. And we'll ask those people about the town. But who would have thought that was what was going to make her grow up to want to travel even more? Her daddy pulled cement just to give us the money to go to different states, to go to different museums, to see different people's issues. It took all of that to build a person that loved what they are doing. See, she didn't just get up and woke up one day like some people doing it, getting on the internet and cutting and pasting and trying to get rich. We wasn't working to get rich. We were spending our own money. Riding in old cars. Remember that car here we had to take and put a brick behind it?
The one where we had to hit the muffler back on?
Yeah, that one. Take that piece of, we kept a 2x4 in the car, and when it fall off, we put it on, and one of us hold it, and then take the pipe, put 2x4, and say, pop, and pop it back off. We go and help people. Y'all hear that? So when people want to be like Chief Warhorse, you gotta watch what you want. You want to come in when you think I'm on the ride. Man, where was you when I had that 2x4? Putting that tailpipe back on because the roads was raggedy. Y'all heard the people on the show. I got some more shows telling you how raggedy these roads was. You going down the road and knock your whole muffler off. Then that's not counting the car that I go out and I have to take and tell UNPC when I put the wire there and tap the thing, hit the key. You know, so what I'm trying to tell you, having money don't help you to get what I'm talking about. I have experience. So when I'm up here talking to you guys about the pain in there, I never come home and cry. And get up the next, I quit about every week. I quit. So if you're gonna quit though and still win, you gotta quit and still go do it. Like Nadia said, she was not fixing to do this stuff, and see she doing it. That's how it happens.
It was our life.
Just shout out for me. Tell them about Washington, D.C.
What about Washington, D.C.?
Oh, my teacher who went to D.C.
Oh.
That was in class.
I asked Nadia one time. I said, Nadia, y'all know I ain't in the back. She gonna tell me what I gotta remember. I said, Nadia, this is a lifetime thing, and I've been chosen by Dr. Lowry and Reverend Alexander and Reverend Ernest to go to the African Summit. Well, first of all, in this area, saying African anything with our family was like cursing. And like, you don't go to the African Summit.
I wasn't interested.
And Nadia wasn't interested. She was in college at SUNO at the time. The word African, that right there, that did it. So she said, I'm not going. I have class, and my professor is so strict. Which this professor, you know you out there, I can call his name because me and him is like that these days. But Dr. Jack, Dr. Lennox Jack was her professor at SUNO University. See, I can call the names because the story is factual, okay? And I did a lot of lectures for Dr. Jack. So we tells this story publicly. Well, I didn't know Dr. Jack at all. And we start going to these meetings, and they would have meeting at Xavier, SUNO, and I still didn't meet Dr. Jack. And we was going to these meetings, and it took us 2 years of going to these meetings to be ready for the first African Summit. Yes, I was there, and I was not there as an African American. I was there to sign a treaty. It was supposed to be me and my 3 children. But my oldest daughter didn't want to go. So me and Amy and PC went.
I had class.
She had class, y'all hear? She was always, I told y'all, she was my nerd. Okay, she was my bookworm. So she said, I have class. And my professor is strict. Well, that professor, Dr. Jack, had been asking her, who are your parents? Because she knew too much, she said. She always was raising her hand, and she had the answer for everything. She just like her mama. You know, I'm not going to sit there and look dumb because nobody else don't know how to answer something. I'm going to answer. So she would raise her hand. So he told her, I'm going to look over your hand. Because you want to answer everything. You got to answer for everything. I'm talking about Edmund Pettiman's Bridge. You raise your hand. Who is your parents, Martin Luther King or Malcolm X?
I said something close to that.
You know what I'm saying?
Close.
So me and her had talked about Dr. Jack. She called me and told me about this. And I said, tell him this. Malcolm dead and Martin dead. But Miss Gillum is still alive. Her name Chief Warhorse. I don't know if she gave him a message or not, but maybe she would have. Because we didn't care because that was her professor. You crossing the line that we're going to get you back on the other side. But just so happened I ended up in Washington, D.C., me and PC. And I left the room and left Aima unattended. So y'all know how she is with this show. I don't leave any unattended too much no more. So I left to go for a little bathroom break and get me a cigarette and left Amy unattended. And I wasn't supposed to speak till the next day. And I walked back in the room, and everybody watching me like I had toilet paper on my shoe. And I'm like, what the hell? And everybody just looking, and the panel looking. I'm like, well, what happened? Well, Amy took advantage of me out the room because, you know, she always trying to tell me what I need to do. So she goes up. They didn't have nobody to speak what Amy wanted to hear. So she goes up and write my name on the next speaking thing. So I come back in there and like, you go up to speak. After a while, I said, no, I don't. I speak tomorrow. They said, well, I ain't gonna change you. You're gonna speak the day and tomorrow. So first of all, I was complaining before I went up to the restroom. They hadn't prayed. So the whole world meeting, and nobody prayed. And I was kind of like hurt. I'm like, you mean we got to meet with all these countries and nobody gonna pray with all these problems? Well, I even Miss Smarty when wrote my name on there because I said something. See how my children will do me? She knew I didn't like it, so I guess she figured, why don't you go tell her? So when I come back and I sit down, I say, why everybody looking at me? Because you got to go speak. I said, why do I have to go speak? Because I went sign the paper when you weren't here because they needed somebody that could tell them people they didn't start the meeting right. So I went up there and stopped this whole conference and made them start all over and pray. So we got the right atmosphere to work in. So I left when the meeting was over. I told them what I had to tell them. I told the African people don't sign no contract, which is a treaty, until they get a definition for every word, and that forever be forever, with a definition to forever. Because they broke treaties to us. Well, later on, I went to the smoking lounge, and we was right not too far from the White House and all of that. And the room that the hotel we was in was one of these hotels that's like historical buildings that they turn into these hotels. Well, we was in one of those, and they had a smoking lounge. And I was down there smoking by the fireplace, and here comes this professor dressed in African-American attire. And he says, may I ask you a question? I'm like, well, who are you? He said, you didn't change the whole format of the meeting. I noticed your name was Gillum. Do you happen to have a child that go to college in New Orleans at Southern University? I said, I most certainly do. I said, but who are you? Well, do you happen to have a daughter by the name of Nadia Gillum? I said, well, from last time I checked, yes, I do. Now, who are you? Well, I'm her professor, Dr. Lennox Jack. I said, well, I'm glad to meet you behind. I said, yo, tell them, I got some stuff to tell you. We've been friends ever since.
Y'all called me from the conference.
Called you from the conference. He gonna ask her, why are you not here? I said, because you put pressure on your students. She felt she had to be there in your class. So you know what she asked him? Why are you not here? I paid my money for this class. Now what you doing in Washington, D.C.? See, that's the kind of kids I raised. Now was she being sassy? No, she being factual. So I want y'all to know, she got fire in her. When I went through that little story, that's why I didn't want to tell you. She had fire. But this just ain't her world right here, okay? But now if you push her button, you will get 100% the first from Chief. Cause see, she had me first. The other one came in 2 more. I tell people my mama, I'm the oldest. When I came along, I tried to take the best of them. And I act a lot like her sometimes.
Like your mom?
Yeah, a lot like her. Y'all just don't, y'all think Chief song. Lord have mercy. Y'all didn't know my mama. But let me go on. I know y'all ain't here for that, but I want y'all to understand my child. So she, she's not out here on the internet. She don't even have time for that. Sometimes she'll go watch some things, but she's not out here. She's not trying to build a career. But I am trying to encourage her, and I want y'all to help me do that. We need people that like to travel, that travel the world like she's doing, that can compile the truth, because she knows what the truth is, because she was raised as American Indian. She didn't wake up one day, and when the internet came out, we decided we was Indians. So now I think I done gave a little introduction for, now that they saying some stuff, I can't see it.
They talking about your
Sound.
It's okay.
Sound.
It's hitting everybody differently. Just all right.
Or do we need to up the sound
It's
some?
not, I don't think it's us, everybody hearing it differently. Some people hearing it clear, some people not. It's the internet thing they chatting about.
Okay, y'all, I told y'all, we know something going on with internet, with whatever happened in space. Mr. Waldo, you on there, explain to them. It ain't us, it's this country. And we better hurry up and get together and organize a network and learn how we did it in civil rights before the internet, how we communicated. Because when this junk shut down, y'all gonna need to know the old way. The new way is okay, but it's good to know both ways, okay? So we're having difficulties in this country right now with technology. Actually, one day they can just hit one button somewhere. I don't know, it might be a red button in Washington.
You say my voice is softer than yours.
Yeah, her voice is so soft. We're gonna move her mic in a little bit. That's always have been her problem, okay? I told y'all, but she still got that fire. I ain't the one with that other voice. and my son. Nadia's on is pretty much right there. Tell me, okay, they're doing a mic adjustment. If y'all get the mic adjustment, we're gonna get her to do a microphone check for y'all right quick. Tell me, do y'all hear?
Say something.
Say something, Nadia.
Can you hear me? I can talk louder.
But on that level.
Amy say stay on that level.
Okay,
Amy over there, in the back. Okay, here we go.
I'm the quietest one.
And that's the truth. She's the quietest one. All right, here we go. But we're gonna make a little noise tonight. Okay, let me see. All right, 180 in. Yep. Okay.
I think y'all.
Thank you. Finding out fellas say we up to 180 in the room. So now that means now the show getting ready to start.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't started?
No,
Yeah.
we was
I
trying to
thought it started.
Hey, they coming in the room. She said we up to 180. All right, thank you. All right, here we go. Now, I'm not introducing her, and if somebody just came in, we're not going back and start over. That means you're going to watch the show over again, right? Okay. One thing I am going to repeat over. Thank you to those who have been making contributions. And in the show, y'all can help by asking people to subscribe so we can help get to this 10,000 we're trying to go to. But I do know before we go to Alabama in June, we're going to be past that 10,000 because Alabama called today and said, hey, we're finna start working on that. But here we go. Nadia as a civil rights leader. We're going to take her in phases. I'm not going to take her to Spain. First, I'm going to take her Nadia as Elwyn Gillum's daughter.
Mhm.
Wow. I think that's where y'all want us to start. Nadia, what is like being Elwyn's daughter?
That's a big one. Because I was trying to anticipate you starting with how do I know that who I am?
I am.
Oh, okay. So let me go back. Because we could be here all night.
Well, go back. All right, we're going to
So
go back to
how do I know
you
I'm a Chahta?
That's
How do I
right.
know?
Let's go there.
I had the pleasure of knowing my great-grandfather before he died. Her grandfather, my grandmother's dad, who did not speak very much English. And from little bitty, he would tell us that we're Chahta. Never called us by our name.
Did he ever
Just
call
little
you
Chahta.
Choctaw?
No, always Chahta.
We know what a Choctaw
Always. Always Chahta. And that was in the early 80s.
Yeah.
I believe he died in about, 81?
82.
See me telling my age.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to take you for that for a minute.
That's okay.
She
I'm
look
not
good for her
ashamed.
age,
I'm
don't she, y'all?
45. I'm 45.
She look good for her age. I told y'all I looked like that 20 years ago. That's a good place to start with Grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa. He told all of us, everyone in our family we know.
Can you remember him singing his Indian songs and tapping on the too?
We have his hands.
Yeah, we do. But she knew who she was, always. When we had our babies, this wasn't no African thing. This was before roots stuff. This is what they did in our family. You bring your baby to your older people and they will look at them.
Mm-hmm.
And they would check their ears and they check their fingertips and their nose. And Grandpa would look at them and he'd say, this is Chahta. I'm not going to call his name. I ain't going to do him that. But my nephew, I'm going to just say it like that.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah, I'm going to just say that
No.
part, but not say everything.
He said he wanted credit.
He's proud of it too.
No.
But I'm not doing that. Well, anyway, one of my nephews, when he was born, Grandpa looked at him and Grandpa said,
It's a Blackfoot.
this is Blackfoot. We don't know how this Blackfoot got up in here. And my nephew is so proud of that because Grandpa said it. Well, to be honest, his genes from his daddy's side began to show. It wasn't really a Blackfoot. Grandpa just did it like that. It was a joke. But his daddy's side of the family was showing stronger. And then years later, I found out through a friend of mine who is their cousin. They actually had this African descent very strong on the other side. Look how history works. But Grandpa saw something in him that wasn't Chahta. Isn't that something? Grandpa could read your features and tell you, oh, you more Cherokee or you more this. But when he looked at this specific nephew, he said, don't know where we got this Blackfoot. How you got to be this Blackfoot. And my nephew out there, when he hear this, he got to be cracking up. He know that's him. He's proud of it. But he said, you know what hurt me? people see me and tell me I'm not an Indian, I'm not Chahta because I don't look like what they think it should be. He's a Chahta because his mama was Chahta and his grandpa was Chahta and his other grandparents were Chahta. And a lot of y'all out there, while I'm bringing this up, I see we offline and I can't see the chats. Everything disappeared over here. So if y'all can still hear me, let me know. But for some reason, y'all disappeared. Okay, y'all back. Okay. For some reason, people make you think because someone's brown or fair complected or dark, you not that. You something else. We none don't have grandpa hair.
No.
None, and none of us have my grandmother's hair. But we have one of our great grandmother's hair. Okay? So when you got family having children, different ones take from different sides of the families. Y'all with me? My kids always knew they were Chahta. My grandfather hair was like this. My grandmother hair was like this. And this looks like my grandpa, my mama, and my grandma. And my auntie. So this is what we saw when we saw India. What we fail to realize, someone that put some kind of stereotypical image of what an Indian looked like in America. And it actually hurt more people than anything.
And that's how our path started to cross. Because my goal is to remove that Eurocentric narrative from curriculum. And because of that, I had to go back to who our colonizers were to find out just how deep it was. So my research is all about decolonizing the curriculum for students, and we cross paths.
And that's why my audience watching. Y'all heard what she doing? Show what y'all feel about her trying to clean up the education on the colonizers. On this show right now, you have some of the top shows and researchers who I would like for you and them to communicate. They done did so much research. They're the ones putting out the colonizer stuff on the internet. Hey, that's coming from our people. Come on, y'all. Look at Nadia. Davita Carter, they sending you fire. There you go. Send us some more fire. Let us see she on the right track, because we don't have educators brave enough to go say that books is a lie. Look at that, Nadia. Look at the fire coming. Go ahead. Let us see what y'all feel about it. That's what we're out here for. That's what we're trying to do. Fight these colonizing lies.
For some reason, that Eurocentric idea of what a Native American is has been spread across the world. When people ask me in other countries, where are you from? That's a really big deal when you leave America, by the way. When they ask you where you're from, they have to ask me because they figure I'm not from America. They know I'm not from their area. And I'll say the US, America. And they're like, no, but what's your origin? The US, no, but what's your parents' origin? The US. They can't see past that because the narrative has been painted that pale skin, straight hair, that's America.
I remember sometime we would talk when you travel to some countries, you'll be like, Mom, these people looking at my hair. And,
they want to touch it all
the time. They
want
to touch my hair. Why they want to touch your hair? And here in America, nobody wants this hair. But you go around the world and you treat it with royalty because of your hair. Let's hear a little bit about that. Don't y'all want to hear the boo? Now you still getting fired. Y'all see what she doing? She gonna change the educational field. I told y'all I had a super guest. You out there talking about it. I'm out here talking about it. She's in the position to change it.
One thing they know we're not African.
Come on now.
No matter where I've been, they know I'm not African.
Y'all got
it's
that?
confusing to them, but they know that much.
Don't touch that hair. That's what they say.
That's right. Don't touch our hair. We don't believe in anybody touching our hair.
Ask sometimes though. I'll say, you can admire it, but some people have taken quick sneak feels because it doesn't look real.
Was somewhere you were. It was like you had the original people hair or something like that.
They love my hair. They absolutely love my hair. They told me I'm blessed.
I want y'all to understand something. She didn't put a perm in. She didn't did it. I didn't did it. But this is something. Everybody else paying for a lot of stuff to get that snapback. I'm just gonna let her do it because people shame on their hair in this country and what they looking at in other countries when she go there and admire about. Could you please cut your hair and stretch it so they can see?
That it's straight.
They know it's straight, but it's curly.
It is curly.
And that's what they're going after.
It shrinks. It's long.
Yeah. And when they see that, that's what they want to touch. I was doing that because I don't tell them no why.
It's a trick, yeah.
Yeah, I will have food. So if you see my kids and their hair is here, that's not the length. Because if they stretch it, it's gonna come on some more. And why I brought that up. That's why mom and them used to do what they call hair wrap in a lot of our family. And what they do is y'all see me sometimes with twisters on my hair. Well, the twisters take the curl and straighten it out. Y'all with me on that? So who created straightening and strengthening hair really is the Native American community. Had more than one way, because my grandmother said they used to have heated rocks, and they could take heated rocks and straighten the hair. So we can play with our hair. Yeah. So don't let nobody make you ashamed of your hair because it's not like my grandpa hair. Okay? I'm proud of my hair the way it is. I still didn't get that gray hair dyed out today, but it's going. It's got to go. All right, because it should have came all over, not just right here. But your hair don't make you. We don't have no
There's
mamas.
hair like this across the ocean, by the way.
Y'all heard?
Just and not in Africa.
Why is not in Africa? What kind of hair is in Africa?
I'm just saying, you know, some people think that this is African hair.
Yeah, but I mean, we was on that hair conversation last night. What's the difference in what you saw in Africa with hair versus what you saw in other countries? That's a strong question, but don't y'all know that else?
I mean, but there's
you're
different
getting
hair.
100s running.
There's different hair everywhere. But when I went to Saudi, when I first moved there, the ladies covered. But what really, really opened my eyes is you can see their hands, and we're the same color, or they may be darker. And one lady said, we have the same hair.
So they let you know, if I take this off,
she said we have the same
like
hair.
you.
So we got to stop judging books by the cover.
That's what
This
I'm
is not
talking about.
African Afro hair.
Did y'all hear that? Boy, now you getting them 100s. I mean, they jumping.
What did 100?
Internet Johnson, I saw your contribution that you made on yesterday's show. Thank you very much for your contribution. I gave Phoenix a tour of the studio today. Phoenix will tell you, with no contribution, we've been working hard on making the studio first class for when people come. They take us very serious so that we can have important guests like we have today. Y'all know I be bringing important guests.
So
One of your people's asked,
do you teach in a public school? So you'll give them a quick rundown.
Oh, I was about to answer.
She's gonna go back on that. She's gonna come up. Me shut up. We was dealing with the hair because the hair is an issue.
The chain switch.
Okay? So we deviated. Now come on back. But that hair is an issue. And we want you to get that jump right. Okay? So
and it's not just the hair, it's the skin tone, everything.
All that.
Because one of your followers said American Indian in the classroom or something like that in education. That's a part of challenging the narrative, that Eurocentric narrative, because they assume that we have to walk in and we all have to look like this, or we all have to look like some
white European look.
Yeah, the Eurocentric, the Mexicans who were all so conquered. Okay, that's why they're lighter than what they originally started off. But they think that we should look like that. But when they see me and my students see me, I can challenge what they're being taught. I can say, hey, look at
For
me.
one instance, you can tell them, you remember when you first was over there and they did the thing about Pocahontas, and you called me about the book that they had in Saudi Arabia versus what we have here. I think that's some of what they're seeing in the education. It's a big difference, y'all. Oh, now look at the hunters. There's a big difference over there in what's being taught than what we're being taught. I'm gonna let her touch that. We ain't missed that other part. We're going back to it, but we on hair and texture and stuff. So let's go back to Pocahontas. What do they see Pocahontas feature in Saudi Arabia?
Well, for the curriculum that I teach, they show Native Americans looking like us.
Y'all got
the
that?
curriculum that I teach.
The curriculum that she teach, the Native American look like us.
Yes.
So really, it's not it's not the world. We got to get it right in America. Our curriculum is off. That was another thing me and Nadia used to battle over in school, and her daddy. Because her daddy is a math person. She'll tell you, they got their math from their daddy. They didn't get that from me. No, I got the calculator. But their daddy would sit there and work numbers. His family did that. His uncles did it. They want to tell you how many seconds you've been in the world and all this. I ain't got time to tell me them dates, so I put them in this calculator. No, they wanted you to work that.
Mhm.
And her daddy would say, look, that's not the way you do math. You ain't gonna understand it fully. You need to know the base. So he would make her do it from the base. When she go to school, it'd be like a whole person was teaching you. Because her daddy would make sure she got it from the base. And me and Nadia always, we were disagreeing on what the school said in the history book versus what I'm saying and what I'm telling her. I had her like my grandpa did me. She getting in trouble in school because I'm saying this junk is a lie.
Mhm.
And that's when I had to go get you the same book Grandpa told me was behind that thing at the library. You remember you did that stupid report about the, what was it, 13 tribes or whatever it was?
I don't remember, but I remember the book.
I went to the library and got the book, and we had to go to the library, ask the white lady for it.
It was in
Don
the vault in the
Crockett.
back.
Don Crockett mama, she had to go in the vault, in the back to get a book about what Grandpa told me. He said, oh, it's down there. So I went and got the book when I was young, then I had to go back to that library to get that book for her. That's the only time you heard the word Chahta. Because they told her in school, they told me there's no such as a Chahta. So that's what I'm telling all y'all out there with that Chahta. Y'all better think about where you got that bite from. You've been still to my, I'm Choctaw.
Mhm.
Get a credit back. Mama of the Choctaw, right here.
Spain didn't record it as Choctaw.
Because nobody was calling themselves Choctaw, not even in St. Tammany, but our family.
Yeah.
And we had hard times in school telling people we Choctaw, and they're like, there is no Choctaw. Yes, we are. My kids went through that. That's what I was telling you last night. I don't have to go talk to somebody else about who I am. I knew who I was before I knew or communicated with any of y'all. The white folks in Oklahoma didn't know they supposed to say it's Choctaw. Go back and look at the video some of y'all done cut and tape and paste me on. And I said they stole the wrong name. And that's why she's sitting over there. We're gonna head to this. I'm not really too deviated from the topic. They stole it. But they didn't steal the correct name. Because we come from the man who signed the treaty. So we were able to get the correct information. So that's what's happening with schools in America versus other countries. Somebody not getting the correct information. So then that's when the blind lead the blind and they both fall in the ditch. And it's all right to become, we can disagree, but it's not too cool to be disagreeable. When somebody bring you some facts, don't shoot them down. Because that person might bring you some information that can open your eyes to the real truth. How many of us may have rejected the truth because you saw in the books something else. You saw on TV something else. My kids have to live in the house with stuff in the books, on TV, and plus what we was pushing in our house. We shut up.
Learn to balance all of that.
You got it. And it's hard too.
Mm-hmm.
It's very stressful. And
because they always wanted me to talk about my connection to slavery.
Yeah. And what are we going to get there?
Didn't know what to say. I was like, we
what
always
plantation
lived on
you
our
talking about?
land.
I don't know nothing about no
I
plantation.
don't know about a plantation. My family always lived on the land, still there.
But to be honest, I know I feel this way with Grandpa. I didn't understand. I used to ask Grandpa, you a racist? Because he was like, you better watch the black people and the white people. And in our family, you can easily look like you being a racist yourself.
That's true.
Because of the way that we teach our kids. And it would be like, and we'll help anybody, any color, not even know this, but it's what we teach our children. Is what give them that different mind frame and pride. You know, I'll tell my kids, like Grandpa told me, let them tell you whatever they want in school. When you come home, we ask them questions. So he said, okay, that's a lie. That's a lie. Now you got to learn to go back and function in society, knowing the truth, but dealing with the lie.
Mm-hmm.
And look what God did. I told her God had something for her. Now, she's a curriculum specialist. She's gonna, did y'all hear what I said? A curriculum specialist. I didn't have to go get nobody else's or cut or paste. Got me one. Oh, she ain't wanna be it. LaToya, ain't that something? She was running from. Got me one. Get you one too. It's what we teach our children. I wasn't waiting on the outside to tell. How the outside can tell our story?
They can.
I grew up with more people not knowing the truth that I went to school with than that knew the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And funny thing, people from Bonfouca and Honeybee, they know their truth.
But a lot of them still hid it because they needed to survive in the world. But
and they hid it
amongst
because
us, they didn't. But
Plus, the world would make you shame.
that's what I was
if they
about
could.
to say. The world would make you
You
shame.
remember that?
It's like they
Y'all out
can't.
them woods down in Bonfouca, you know, and that was
Yeah.
other people of color doing that.
Yeah.
You didn't come home and cry many days from school because the cruelty of other children. That's why I didn't think she'd be a school teacher.
My life was very different.
Yeah.
Every kid I went to school with.
Y'all understand that?
Very different.
So my kid, this one, 45.
Mm-hmm.
See, she proud of it too, because she look good too.
I am
Remember I was telling
45.
y'all, we got them genes came from these people. All right, so why would we not want to be us and not proud of who we are
Mm-hmm.
when we stand on the shoulders of these people? And we got to show the next generation to be proud of who they are. Y'all got that? Let me explain something to y'all. Stop following people that don't know the real story.
Mm-hmm.
Stop following people that's reading books, putting something together to tell you how to do it. I raised one that's 45 years old. Well, raised her without telling a lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
She knew the truth. And when she said, the people say, don't worry about what the people say. What we said in this house.
Mm-hmm.
My mama was saying it. My papa said it. See, she just told y'all she grew up, she knew her great-grandfather that raised me.
Who barely spoke English.
Barely. Well, mama wasn't too good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not too good. But she can get her point across, and she was like me. She could take it and work with
But
it.
you know what? I'm glad this is taking place because one of the things that I experience with a lot of my colleagues, I work with people from all over the world. And what confuses them is all of these labels that they give us, right? One lady asked me, she said, I've been wanting to ask this question. She said, I need to know, she said, the kids are reading this book. Is it okay to say African American? Do I say black? She said, I'm confused because it keeps changing. I said, thank you for asking.
It keep changing.
Thank you for asking. I said, because you just can't assume by looking at someone.
Well, even with
Who they
you,
are.
you're over in Saudi Arabia. Did you go to Saudi Arabia as a African American, black?
No.
What are you?
No,
They-
and to be honest with you, they don't even ask that.
See what y'all see that?
When you leave America, your
Yes, we get
color,
back here.
that is left behind. Anyone who's in the military should know that. Like, you leave that behind.
Oh, that stays here.
And what I
is-
noticed, some people treat her fine because they know she an Indian. She get to wear her shirt, little t-shirts
Mhm.
on their career days and stuff, and nobody don't do you like
Mm-mm.
America.
And I've been all over the world.
And
I've been
nobody
in
told you
places
you
where
was
I've been the only one this color. And I still didn't feel, ostracized or out of place.
till you
No.
come back home.
Yeah.
And you got the same syndrome that Will and them had in the military. You left home and you saw the world, they embrace you. You come back home and home is like, you're the wrong color.
Yeah.
Your hair is not right. I saw someone put on our page, I know y'all saw it. It was like, y'all got nappy hair and y'all African. Well, if you think that's what African is, you go pull up Tarzan and Jane. I'm gonna keep y'all on Tarzan, Jane, and Cheetah. That was all we knew. So you got the power of the internet. And if y'all wanna know what we knew about Africa, go pull up Tarzan, Jane, and Cheetah.
That's another criticism I got. Why haven't I searched Africa, the continent of Africa, the way that I've searched Europe?
You had a reason to search Europe.
Yes. That's what
We
colonizers
didn't
were.
grow up ignorant, not knowing. Nadia was in Spanish class as a young kid. We fought. The same lady was on the show, Jeannie, which her kids grew up to do a lot of, go in a lot of different fields. We began to fight back in the days. We really involved with PTA. If y'all got children in school, get involved with your PTA. All right? So I was going to PTA meetings and I found out that there was special ed programs. And see, we as people of color, you hear the word special ed, you think that means something wrong with your child. Well, Nadia was an honor student. And I forgot that man's name. Used to wear the plaid shirt.
You talking about principal? Mr. Cuevas? Or Dr. Barrow?
Dr. Barrows. Dr. Barrows told me, he says, what you need to do is go to the state and ask them to open up the special ed program to St. Timothy Parish because we don't have it. Now, he had his kids, they was all up in college at a young age. So the white people knew about the programs. We didn't. So Dr. Barrows went to tell me about going to the state education board and getting some of the PTA leaders and presidents to go with us. And we could bring funding back to our area for students that was honor students, because Nadia was getting bored in school. Okay, y'all hear me? So I didn't know we can go and say, okay, she don't need social study because we march, protest, and do civil rights. People don't know this. I'm telling y'all some tips.
Yeah.
So this is getting out of your jump start. So she didn't have to do social study because she lives social study every day. So they took that place and we brought in a Spanish class to the parish so that the elementary kids had an opportunity to pick up a Spanish class. That came from people like me and Jeannie who wanted something for our kids that was honor students. And I don't know Spanish. Now they had other Spanish books and other words. But it is something how God fixed it where that was there. And I would always say, Nadia, you're going to do this because there's a mission for you. Didn't you grow up and tell me?
Mm-hmm. Everyone else was taking French, but
I had you in Spanish. And I was like, Nadia, our paperwork is in Spanish. We got people in our family that can speak French. Didn't I used to say that? We need somebody that can read the Spanish documents. Because I'm reading skippity-loop Spanish, like mama, big word, skip it. You understand? Okay, got this word, skip it, catch the next word. And I had to sit there and piece this stuff together. And I had been at that for years. No. I had Dr. Lede. I would go to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go to my other friend, he just passed, Bill White, for French. So I had a Spanish teacher and a French teacher, and they started showing me how to figure out this stuff. And then I started taking Nadia to communicate. And every time these teachers would see, especially Mr. Lede, he would only talk to Nadia in Spanish, period. They wasn't speaking no English. I'm like, good, do that. I don't know what y'all saying, but it look like y'all understand. That's good for me. Because I prayed to God, send us at least one person in this family that can learn that Spanish and get their behind over that water and go see what them people say. That was a long-term plan. Y'all stop looking for stuff to be instant and microwave and pressure cook. It's good to have that. But what you witnessing here was not done in no instant pot. It was not microwavable. This job took a long time. And I love the result. I'm here to tell you, if I die today or tomorrow, knowing that she's doing and went out what she'll done, and my other kids is doing what they're doing, and my grandbabies, I know I'll be leaving the rest of the next generation in good hands. Can y'all say that? Because I knew it was something hid in that Spanish. My grandfather kept saying, we the first of the first. I told y'all what he said. He said he kept trying to push us off the face of the earth. He said we was here before any white people or black people come to this land. He kept telling me this. And he said the land just keep getting smaller and smaller and they keep pushing and pushing. My grandpa wasn't no person to lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I repeated it all the time to my kids.
Yeah.
I kept repeating it. Stop letting somebody else tell you different from what your grandparent done already told you. That's the first mistake right there. You just said your grandparent was a lie. But you'll pick up Christmas and Easter and all of this other stupid stuff that you can't bring no facts to the table on, but you can't bring your grandmother's fact that she know where she come from. All right, now where I'm going with this. Go back and think about what your parents and grandparents was telling you. And because you deviated, it don't mean you can't get back on track. And because you didn't want to do what your parents was doing, don't mean that ain't the path you got to take. There not a year. She had to go fly over there, not me. Her mission was there already for her.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it was people of color that made your mission hard. Not white folks. And I was trying to tell them the other day, that Democrat, Republican issue people pushing.
Mm-hmm.
That can hurt you.
That can.
That's not the world issue. That's the way we doing in America, putting pressure on each other about a political party.
Right.
You know I registered on many Democrats in our days, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we believe in voting in our family.
We sure do. I vote from overseas.
And we'll get in line at 6 in the morning. Remember
Yes,
Uncle Rob? Uncle Rob tell everybody what time it was to get to the poll. Tomorrow is election, Saturday morning. We are meeting at 5 o'clock. We will be standing in the poll line. at 6. And we couldn't tell Uncle Rock, I ain't getting up in the morning.
There was no excuse. Everyone voted.
Everybody. And when it was election time, and we still do it, we sit down and we would discuss who we were gonna vote for. And this is what y'all came
And
up
why.
saying, why we were voting for them.
Mm-hmm.
And not because of the color of their skin or their political party. What are they gonna do to help the community?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what y'all saw. So I want y'all to know, to be a good leader, you gotta first be a good follower. And if you ain't following what your own people taught you, how could you lead somebody else to somewhere? Your life is not about hits. Yeah, I wanna see all of that, what we're doing. That's because we know we reaching people. It's like walking from door to door putting flyers out. I like it better this way because I'm sitting in this chair. Because I had to run from dogs back in the day trying to get a flyer on the doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take this here network and we're going to make this network where people like you, Nadia,
Mm-hmm.
don't have to worry about the attack from the outside because you got a network of people that understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my team on here.
You have some good things.
Yes, I do. I love them.
Is that what you call them, followers?
They're
Not
my
social
family.
media.
That's our
Oh,
extended
family.
family
Okay.
right here.
They call cooks.
Cooks and chefs.
I got
Oh,
cooks,
and
chefs, yeah.
Yes, sir.
They have waiters and all this out here. Come on, y'all, let them know y'all doing it. Yeah, soup chefs over
Hunters
here.
and gatherers.
Got a couple grill masters.
Honey gatherers is out there. Look at them. She like
Grill
y'all.
masters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have grill masters out there too.
I'm not used to talking to a screen, only during COVID.
So if we
this
could
is-
just get you real quick, cause the chat keep going back to it. What's your teaching background?
Okay.
What's your education background and your teaching background?
Okay, so educational background.
Oh, thank you, whoever that is. Say that right.
Antoinette Johnson.
My education.
Antoinette Johnson.
Thank you.
She says, Chief and Nadia, thank you for sharing your knowledge and furious fighting spirit. I will support any way I can.
Thank you. We just want y'all to know we for real. And I'm glad to hear her telling you all, and y'all hearing it from her. She's willing to go out there and help change some of this curriculum stuff on this colonizing lives. This is what we all fighting. This is what this here network is about on here.
Mm-hmm.
So here you got your team. Wouldn't y'all like for her to keep y'all up to date on where she's going with this and what could we do to help so that she help clean up some of this colonizing stuff? Phoenix Moon, why don't you come on air and join us on stage, please?
She want me to answer the question.
Okay, so say, but I'm doing this while you're doing that. Phoenix, join us on air.
Okay, so my educational background is I have a bachelor's degree in political science, a master's degree in urban education, a master's degree in curriculum and instruction, all but dissertation in curriculum and instruction with focus in literacy, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Along with her whole civil rights.
All of
education.
that. Well, that was with the question you asked me earlier that we still have to come back to.
Let's
What
go
is it
to
like being
Yeah, go ahead now. Well, we gotta go back
daughter
to
of a civil?
you. Now she let you know she knew how she was shot.
Well,
Where do you teach?
Oh, where do I teach?
All of the
Oh, okay, so I've previously taught, oh my goodness. So I started with my student teaching in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let me backtrack. I was supposed to go, yeah, because I was on the track to be a lawyer. I was on the track to be a lawyer. I had a scholarship to go to Southern University. I won a Women in Government scholarship. And I was in a master's program there. And
Well, you served as the first ever in St. Tony Parish.
yes.
Come on.
Yes.
You left
I
something
did.
out that didn't exist.
I was a junior councilman
Under
council-
Kevin Davis.
under Kevin Davis, yes.
Administration.
And that catapulted me into political science, pre-law, and while I was in law school, I needed money, so I started substitute teaching in Baton
Thank you,
Rouge.
Connie Johnson, for your donation, $10. Y'all, we got some wonderful
Yeah.
donors out there. Did y'all hear what she's saying? She did one thing, but she had to do another.
I had to do another.
Thank
This is
you,
where
Dee.
my life pivoted. So I started substitute teaching, and it was in a low SES community. Kids being raised by grandparents, grandparents on Social Security, single family homes. And I absolutely.
Grandchildren of sharecroppers.
Yes, yeah, I did that. Yeah, you remember, I would be bringing food to school, and I absolutely loved it. It reminded me of the movement, bringing food to school, taking care of people, visiting homes. And so I decided to go back to school, and I said, I think I want to be a teacher. And so I had worked all night long. When I say all night long, I pull overnighters, and I would leave my overnight job and go directly to school to get my certification to become an educator.
You
And
keep talking. Let me go see what Amy said.
Okay.
They used to me walking.
after getting my certification, I started teaching in Ascension Parish. I taught there for 12 years.
Okay.
And then after 12 years, I applied to teach overseas. Always knew that I would be leaving the country for a reason. You need to,
Okay, while we offline,
okay.
Sharon,
Are we offline?
something happened. Let's just let it roll
No.
like that.
No.
I gotta thank Dee. Okay, thank you, Dee. Thank you, Charlene. All right, you be keeping up with y'all a little better than me, so I have to thank Dee and Charlene. Okay, keep going.
Things didn't get the link.
Keep telling us about you now.
Okay, Phoenix will be joining us, y'all. She didn't get the link.
Okay.
You can keep talking now.
So,
Keep talking
No, get your phone, I emailed it to you.
I ended up applying to a job in Saudi Arabia. I wanted to continue working in Ascension Parish, but I felt like there was more that I could do with my curriculum specialist degree. And so when the opportunity came up for me to travel abroad, I applied. It was just like fate. Like, I went for it. They were impressed the very first time they interviewed me. In fact, I think I was the quickest hire at the time because it takes months. It takes like 6 months to get hired, but they did my process in less than 2. I found out late July that I would be getting the job, and I left early August of 2015. So I've been in Saudi Arabia for almost 8 years. A couple of months shy of 8 years.
You can open it up for questions if you want to.
That's what I'm looking at. Challenge other diversity, inclusion, directives considering, or the question is incomplete. I was trying to understand your question. American, a part of it is
How
missing.
do I challenge other diversity and inclusion directives to consider adding or addressing?
Yeah, it cuts off. The UAE is the country next to Saudi Arabia. Yes, I've been to the UAE. That's where you have Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, that's pretty much where I have to fly into to get to Saudi Arabia. Any other questions?
I think the end of that sentence was American Indian culture.
I missed one.
No, the end of the sentence that was incomplete, American Indian culture.
How do you?
In the workplace.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So how do I challenge other diversity and inclusion directives to consider adding or addressing a American Indian culture
In the workplace.
in the workplace?
Oh, okay. So first off, when for some reason, and I'm not the expert with the workplace, but what we've been doing, you have to challenge the narrative by first start talking about belonging and being intentional being intentional about our background, who you are, so that they understand that there's more than 2 races in America. For some reason, everything in America is black and white. So we have to first start talking about belonging and equity before we can even bring to the table anything else in the workplace. Once you do that, everything is open. If we're gonna bring up all of these other issues about what people want to be and claim to be, then we have to also show that our values, our backgrounds are just as important in the workplace as someone who feels that they're being left out. I don't know how in today's time you can be in a workplace and not talk about diversity. That's something you're gonna have to challenge every day. It's one of those, we like to say, epistemological topics where there's no direct answer for it. It just has to happen when you see any area that we're being left out, you intentionally insert it. You have to intentionally say who you are, what you believe, and what goes against what you believe.
In your travels, other nations know us as the indigenous people.
In my travels, they do not call us indigenous people. They do say American Indians a lot. I've been getting and growing into the habit of saying natives to America or indigenous Americans, but they do not see us as, they don't use the term indigenous as much as we do.
Do you tie in genealogy into the curriculum you create?
Do I tie what?
Do you tie in genealogy into the curriculum you create?
I don't see how you could leave that out. It depends on what topics we're talking about. Genealogy, okay, I'm seeing it now. When you say tie in genealogy, you mean my bloodline, a specific bloodline? What do you mean by that? Okay, I guess we'll come back to that one. Indigenous American, yes, we use that more than they do. Chahta has never been said in any of the curriculums that I've taught. And hopefully today we could talk about that, what we found.
She's backstage. She's right there.
How do we get people to call us Indigenous Americans? That's a part of that challenge in the narrative. We have to keep saying it. When we write and document, we have to use that. We have to use that terminology. It's the hardest thing to do if we're not on one accord. It's not like we can pass a law to say what we're using. Hey, looks like we have Miss Phoenix Moon here. Can you hear us?
Halito, hi, Sonia. Welcome back, welcome home.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be back?
It feels good. It feels really good.
Good.
When I'm with my family.
I know that's right. There's nothing like it. Oh my goodness. So excited. We've been waiting for this for so long. I'm so glad you were here. This is the oldest baby. I was just listening to how you learn Spanish, and you know what? I wasn't really good at French. I was always better at Spanish too. But I do realize how important it was for us to learn it. What were your experiences, and how many languages exactly do you speak?
Okay, so I don't want to say that I speak a lot of languages, but I do know a little bit here and there with Spanish. And of course, being in Saudi, I've picked up on a little bit of Arabic.
Right. And you can can you speak French as well?
No.
No?
The only French I know is what I've learned being in Louisiana.
Right. Interesting. That is so interesting. What's up? Put that fire in the chat, y'all. Chief and the family. You know, I thought this was so awesome. We always got Ema around. This is the oldest sister, and Chief also has a son as well. And they all absolutely adore their mother. And she adores you guys as well. I hear so much about you, Nadia. I'm so glad you're home. I'm so glad to finally get to meet you. And I know we're waiting for you to hear some of your experiences overseas and being in Saudi Arabia and traveling the world and getting to see so much. And yes, honey, that 45 is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. I just turned 49 too. So yeah. I know. I totally
We
get
hope
it.
so. Will.
Yes, we did. The 70s, I think it was because we actually were children. You know, we played
Yeah.
outside. We got scrapes and bumps and bruises, and you know, we explored and tried to discover things, and we were curious, and you know, got that fresh air when you hear that one of the elders tell you how you smell like outside. You smell like outside. How
Yeah.
long did it take us before we realized what they meant when they said that? How cool was that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Braveheart. Braveheart.
Yes, Brave Hawk 334. Thank you.
Yes, Braveheart 334.
Oh, someone asked, how do the Arabs in Saudi Arabia see us here in America? Oh, I don't want to generalize, but I do ask that. When you say see us, are you talking about us as native to Americans, or are you talking about American in general? I don't want to assume what you mean.
Right, good question. Oh, good, and even better answer. If you could be a little more specific on, like, how do they view American Indians in Saudi Arabia? Is that a little more detailed, Nadia?
Oh, dark-skinned Americans. Okay, so how do they view? You will be quite surprised to know that Saudi comes in many colors. They come in the same colors that we have here in America. So they don't look at me as any less than them. It doesn't. They don't have a color system, racial system. So it is not like they see me as a citizen less than anyone else because I'm a darker skinned person. And as I said, I encounter people of different colors in Saudi. They come in my color, darker, lighter. What you see on television is not real. It is not real. It's not the whole truth. It is very hot. It is very hot in Saudi. Yeah, they do know that we're different than Africans. They do know that.
Nadia, somebody wants you to answer. It's Connie Johnson. She want to know, how do they, the Arabs in Saudi Arabia see us as Americans?
That's the question I was answering. They don't look at us, they don't look down on us because
I asked that question a lot,
in fact, what is amazing is that I'm called sister there. I'm not called I'm not called miss. I'm called sister. Everyone calls me sister.
I want to ask a question for you to answer on air, because you and I talk about it all the time too. You know, we've had people say, what about the driving and women in Saudi Arabia? Some people think that's bad, some of the stuff, but you and I talk about this all the time. Mm-hmm. Tell them how you feel over there. Because sometimes people say, are you scared with your daughter over there?
Not at all. I feel safer there than in America.
Somebody wanted that answer.
I feel very safe. I feel so safe. I can leave my purse in a basket and walk 3 hours over. And I do it all the time.
So what we are hearing on TV is fake news.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm scared to go to the store by myself here sometimes. When I look at how many brown people are disappearing.
Yeah, human trafficking.
Yeah, or you can be shot from the interstate.
Well, someone do crimes over there in Saudi Arabia. Why I'm asking, because this is something it might sound harsh to us, but hey, it works. Why are people not doing crime in Saudi Arabia?
I just think they respect the laws that their monarchy puts in place, and they know they mean business. If they say that.
So you had a chance to see the political part, is what I'm trying to say, Saudi. But you also know when the king speaks,
everyone listens.
What about the politicians when the king speaks? Well, we have leadership here that, I'm not listening to this one. What happens when the king speaks?
No, the king's word is the final word.
During COVID, the reason the numbers were down, you and I came up with that because we monitored COVID real close. COVID was less over there. And it was because when we were talking, you said, the king said.
We have to stay indoors.
Did y'all
or
hear?
you'll be fine.
So people weren't able to go out. Is it on? People weren't able to do like here then and say, I ain't listening to that. I want to have my life and I want to do something. Okay, are we back on?
Someone asked the question
Yeah.
about how do they view Indigenous Americans in India. I do work, India is one of the places that I have not visited, but I work with tons of Indians. And I asked how they feel about the terminology, Indian being
Mhm.
used.
That's what
And
they
they know that it was a confusion.
Between
In
Indians and
general, the
America.
ones who I've spoken with, I don't want to say they have a problem with it, but they know that they feel like that's theirs. That's their title.
I want to ask the audience something. How I feel we interviewing someone that was born and raised in America, knew she was an Indian, traveling the world. She's sitting here talking to us of her experience and being very honest, okay? What y'all see about it? See some fire going up? Send us up some fire and hearts if this show is heading toward the way we want it to go in the future on correcting what the colonizer lies is. Show some fire and hearts to our guests for today.
Okay, I see someone saying about mistreatment. I'm not gonna talk about any
Let me do that.
Okay.
Certain things, remember I told y'all, my daughter lives in Saudi Arabia. So there's certain things she can't be saying that get on this internet and can get her in danger over there because of it. So when we see stuff like that, I told her we're gonna intervene on it because she can go so far. And then some things we just gotta leave that alone. But we did not want to interview over the telephone either. We wanted to do it in person. And I know y'all can understand, she lives in Saudi Arabia. So we're not gonna endanger her with some questions to that point. Are they gonna come? I'm sure she's gonna write a book
Yeah.
and tell us the stuff that right now she still have to go back over there, okay?
Mhm. And I
But
love
do
my
she
job.
love it over there? Yes, so it's not like she's not saying stuff because she's covering up. It's just there's a code over there on what can and cannot be said. And that's why I'm not going to Saudi Arabia and then have this discussion. She done found me some cigarettes over there. She done found my cold drink. She have not found anything to keep this mouth controlled. So I'm not going. Cause I'm not going down the chop block because I done said something you're not supposed to say. All right?
Like
So,
that.
And I don't want her going over there and doing that. So that's what I'm saying in America. But you do know now we have a person that in the future gotta be able to sit down with us and really give us a good story or a good book on factual information.
But I do want to say,
and you do advocate for us as
do.
a people in America.
And I do everywhere I go.
You remember last year? Was it last year during COVID when they had to call you in for peace, and they couldn't understand where did she come from, the way she handled issues. I'll let her tell that story because they brought her in to be the peacemaker. You know what I mean about if race problems arise. Why? Because she know how to handle those things. Okay, she know how to keep peace.
Yeah.
When questions is going on, and we was
Now
cutting
I
up
do
over here.
speak.
That was during the
around-
riot. That was during the riot in America.
I was about to say I do speak. Someone asked about the workplace, and how you can get
Thank
your narrative.
you, Super Predator, for our $50 super sticker. Thank you.
Someone asked about the workplace and challenging the diversity, or lack thereof at the workplace. Well, one of the things that I did since being in Saudi is I did bring to light some of the cultural biases that they
That's
had,
what I'm talking about.
in the workplace. And so I was asked to speak at a conference in Thailand on cultural bias.
That's why I was learning. I didn't know where you went, but I'm getting there. So see, she ended up going to Thailand to speak on workplace environment with issues. She's out there. She's in this. So what I'm saying is she's still doing civil rights, y'all. It's so funny.
I know.
And she's still doing human rights, y'all. It's so funny. But the good thing is she get paid for it. All right? So that was her main goal. My work was 24/7, 7 days a week, 365, no pay. And she didn't want that. Okay? So now God bless her to get to do all what I was doing and she get paid. This is the first time my husband and kids that got passed out when y'all made a donation last night. I let you know Chief don't be out here on the money thing. Everybody's like, where that come from? We know how it was and where we got our money from over the years. We didn't take money from politicians. I was telling someone, Kevin Davis was the biggest contributor to youth
all the time.
trips.
Mhm.
And I want people to know,
When we started we were with the 21st Century
20
Youth with
with
Uncle
Rose
Ted. I was going to
and
say Uncle
Ted
Ted.
Rose Sanders and Hank Sanders and Ted. See y'all, so she
Yeah.
went through 21st century leadership. Okay?
Yeah.
She was trained to be a leader. She's not the only one. My son went through it.
Mhm.
All my kids, they were trained to be leaders. In whatever field you go in, remember I said last night, even if you're the top ditch digger, be the leader of that ditch digging to make sure you dig the best ditch. And so that you treat and teach the people who digging under you to do it in a leadership manner so they can become the top ditch digger. All right? Latroy.
Excuse me. When you spoke about speaking about the culture,
Talk a little louder.
Speaking about the culture biases, kind of make that clear that wasn't the Saudis. That was
No, that
America.
wasn't the
I'm with you on that.
That was
Yeah.
Wasn't the
American-
Saudi, that was
American
workspace.
Canadians in their system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you on that. I had caught that and I wanted to go back to it and I did.
Yeah, so you have to go back
There
to
you
Saudi
go.
Arabia.
So, yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
No,
She
it
said
was
it
not
wasn't
the
the
Saudis. Not the Saudis. I work for a company that's heavily run by Americans, and when we say Americans, we mean North Americans. We're not talking about just the United States of America. So it could be Canada, United States, Mexico. And so we were talking amongst our group about cultural biases, not the Saudis. If you ever get a chance to visit Saudi, it's open now for tourism. It's a very beautiful country, and you will be so surprised to see that there are people who look like you and I.
Y'all
They look
getting it?
just like us.
So, the miseducation of America don't only hurt us in here. It also make us prejudiced against
Yeah.
other places. And it's good for us to go see those.
What
of
we've
you
been
who
told
love
is
travel.
that Americans, we look at things as black and white, and we do. When you go other places, our first lens is black and white, but that's not their first lens. I mean, they'll think about class before they even think about.
Yeah, like India has
Yeah.
a class system
Uh-huh.
where you have the untouchables who have the
Yeah.
same limits basically that America do with people of color.
Mhm.
I'm with you on that. Now, what I want to say is, guys, so far, if y'all liking, well, I see a lot of fire over here and there's fire over there.
They want to know who was speaking out camera.
Oh, who's that speaking off camera?
I'm gonna introduce y'all to Princess. Let me see. Can,
This is moment.
we're gonna get him to just step in on camera. This is my son-in-law.
Hello, people.
And while he's hanging over there by his wife on the chair, I remember, I'm gonna let him tell you what it's like to be my son-in-law too, because it's kind of bad to have a mother-in-law everybody think is crazy. But I'm always remember when you was in Spain, when you was reading this stuff, and he can't read Spanish, y'all. So he was about like me. He was trying to find things to interpret for him and whatever. And he was calling me like, "You're right, Chief. It's here. It's here. It's here." You know, the joy they had is what I brought back to you all. So I'm gonna let y'all hear from LaTroy. You know, they here for the weekend. All right. So y'all gonna get to hear LaTroy. I promise before they leave. Okay, guys? We're not gonna shut down shop. We're gonna give LaTroy his shot. Because in this family, you get jealous a little bit. Y'all understand? You gotta get everybody their shine. And so we're gonna give LaTroy his little shine, but that's my son-in-law. But I want y'all to start looking at your leadership and look at the family of your leadership. Okay? When I was traveling in the community, I took my family. And we were getting too many people leading, and you don't know their family, you don't know where they're coming from. How can you identify with something that you don't know where these people are coming from? Right there, that's unsafe leadership. You have an expectation in the blind, hoping that this person can help you. My kids will tell you what you're getting now is, this is me. I'm sorry. Okay? What you won't see out of Chief. I'm not gonna come out here, like I told y'all, doing no step and fetch a dance, even though I did one in front of him to let him know I'm not gonna do that stupid junk
Mr. Waldo, man.
for these white folks, black folks either. And I'm not a Mexican Indian. My kids didn't know what no Mexican Indians was, but knew they was over there in New Orleans at Mardi Gras, and we didn't want to go over there and get shot.
And
Right.
that's another show.
And I ain't gonna just say it, and that's another show. Now, my son-in-law, he was half New Orleans, half across the other side.
He said, don't leave, he's from the country too.
That's what I told him, half from the other side. Yeah, he from the country. He from over there where them plantations and stuff we were talking about the other day. And half from New Orleans. And he don't wanna be in New Orleans. You know, now it's not that everybody in New Orleans is bad.
It's
that
the
they-
stigma that they put
Is
on.
and when you keep, like I was saying, it's what you speak out. So the news people have to stop saying how many people get killed because they thought when the numbers was down, it looked like they were like, wait, our numbers down? Oh man, we gotta go pick our numbers up. So people stop giving them numbers. You know, that's kind of scary, but that's that sickness I'm talking about that we have to heal.
Mhm.
We think we have to do crazy, stupid things, dangerous things to get somebody's attention. This is what we done force people to believe. Now, I want y'all to hear me. One, we need some more parents getting more stricter out here on their kids and stop letting the system be the discipline system. We need to take that back. We need to spend more time going to museums and getting involved with positive things.
So what happens to it takes a village?
Well, now if you mess with the children in the village, you gotta fight the mama and the grandma. Nobody tells your children nothing. You know, it wasn't like that with y'all. And my mama was the head of the village as well. Hey, come here, boy, wear your belt.
We need
They wouldn't pass mama house with their pants sagging, no belt and no shirt. I mean, the gangsters of the gangsters. Don't pass Miss Selena house like that because she gonna call you down. I came from that kind of environment.
Mm.
So when y'all see me out here acting like this, I'm not putting on no show. I'm just being me. I don't know how to be
that.
nobody.
She is not. I'll watch you call out the mayor.
They don't believe those things.
So,
Put my finger on his nose and it came out in the newspaper.
mhm. I used to be so embarrassed.
And then she had to go to school with that in the newspaper on the front page.
So embarrassed.
Elvin done put her finger on the mayor's nose. Yeah, listen. You want to be a good leader? Stand up. Stand for something. Don't just be falling for anything. And I said, stop paying people for memberships to be on tribe. Because we know most of the tribes is not real. Now, we're going to go ahead on and start slicing this cake up, what you come here for. But Nadia, a few more things you have to do. I wanted to talk to you all. And hey, I didn't have to put on no break music. I told you she's my daughter. She can handle it. She just don't, this is not her
This is
world.
not- mhm.
Okay? But she do what I do in her world. Okay? So now we know we got someone working on correcting something and using the correct word, colonizers. So we know next month, I told y'all we're gonna have a report back on what went on with the Pope from the Catholic Church themselves on the Doctrine of Discovery, which is all about 1493. So, hey, y'all want to support on 1493? Cash App 1493. Phoenix, you took a tour today of the studio as it's getting more and better. What you say, Phoenix? Phoenix? Wait a minute, Sharon, bringing you in. Okay, we lost her. Okay. You coming in, Phoenix?
They say they want a slice of that cake.
I know y'all
I
want
think
that
they want
cake.
to talk about Spain.
I say that's that cake right there. Look, that's that cake right here. Y'all see it on the table, huh?
They ready.
All right, we're gonna get ready to slice the cake. We was gonna see if Phoenix could hear me. We're gonna just let it alone so we don't knock us off right now, because we're gonna get ready to slice this cake a little bit. But Nadia also was supposed to have been coming to the next point of going to that because it's important. She grew up doing Spanish for a reason. For me, hoping, that was all about me, my selfishness, hoping she learned Spanish because I couldn't, so she could go and do this. And I think every time she went to a trip in a certain place, I'm like, go to and go see and go get.
Yes.
And I was giving her like this little grocery list for some stuff we needed to go with our ingredients.
Mhm.
You understand? So her and my son-in-law did go get some of the ingredients. And I'm not gonna cheat you on that, LaTroy.
No.
I'm gonna let you come stand here on this here part.
He got another show.
Oh, Evie said, she
That's
said
another
another
show.
show.
And that's another show.
That's another show. Okay, y'all know Evie back there directly. So she don't want to give y'all another show because she keep on saying another show. So we're gonna stick with Nadia on this show. Nadia, growing up and not knowing, but always knowing we needed somebody to read Spanish, and we bring you the Spanish teachers, just for them to communicate with you. Even with when you was working at Winn-Dixie, you remember the Spanish professor would come through, and he would come to your line. He would tell me just so he checked to see how sharp she was on her Spanish, because everybody out here from here know Mr. Lede knew his stuff.
Yeah.
So he would test her out, and then he would see me and he'd say, she's getting there, she's getting there, she's getting there, sister. And well, we lost Mr. Lede a while back, so he didn't get to see you do some of the stuff you're doing. But he was proud of you anyway, because Spanish wasn't something too many people in the community of color was taking. They was taking French and other things. But my whole selfish, y'all hear the word, she got to be honest. My whole selfish thing from putting her into Spanish was so she can come back and tell me what in the heck did them people say about us. And that's what y'all want, right? She can go answer some questions on some other things later. We're gonna go slice this cake. Tell us about this trip. and I would just go straight to the point. Mr. Waldo, you on there?
Yeah.
Mr. Waldo been praying for you, Nadi, for everything. When you were sick, when things are going wrong, I didn't want to just slice the cake and him and things not be here because they've been praying with you.
He just dropped it.
And you know prayer goes a long ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some people in here that been praying for you even when you were sick. And
Thank you.
they glad to see you sitting here nice and healthy now. You see that, Mr. Waldo? Phoenix? So because she went through a little sick period on us, but we didn't give up because I know God got a mission for her. And she couldn't go nowhere because she hadn't went got them books yet.
Mm-hmm.
So God took her through the sickness. She come out the sickness, but now she have a joy better than before the sickness. Because she know not only did God let her learn the language, go through the little trials and tribulations that life threw, but she still made it to the goal to bring all of us a factual truth that we can believe. Now I know y'all would say, well, y'all don't really know her. Well, I know her. And she know if I know she was lying, I'll come on this mic and I'll blow her. I'll tell her, y'all Nadia's lying. She know it. There she is. So I'm not gonna cover for no one. But I'm gonna stand here as a witness that she's telling you the truth.
Well, you know, I fought. I never wanted this.
No, y'all hear she never wanted this.
Not.
This is my prayers right here.
Yeah, this is our missions colliding.
That's right. Mr. Waldo said he glad you made it back
Thank you,
home.
Mr. Waldo.
He asks for you every time we talk. Eyes not. Mr. Waldo, she said she in better shape over there than we is over here.
I am.
Can we get some
Okay.
cake in the chat?
We going to
What-
Detroit.
what you-
My son-in-law
We
did
need
this.
cake slices in the chat.
He did it. Y'all see
anyway.
these little yellow tabs? Should we leave his yellow tabs for his part of the show?
Yes.
See, LaTroy was ready for y'all. Y'all see, look, wait, let me see. Look. Y'all see it? He got all kind of, 1, 2,
They're
3,
all of us.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He got about 13 little things pertaining specifically to here, you say, right? LaTroy?
Yes. To
See
our
these little
family.
tabs?
To our family. When we say our family, we saying Chahta.
Do y'all see these yellow tabs?
Yeah. In all of these books.
So we can't do that in one show. Y'all know that.
Mm-mm.
But they're gonna go ahead.
I do want to tell them how we found.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's gonna go ahead and tell the story, but eventually we gotta work our way. LaTroy even have this one. I'm with LaTroy. This little bitty book have 5 tabs.
Is that the one with the maps?
Yeah,
They say, can you show the book?
I'm fixing
on the
to.
screen?
I'm gonna let her do it, and I'm gonna let LaTroy deal with
Yeah.
his books. But there's your books.
And a lot of these names are going to look familiar to you because a lot of what.
Can y'all see the book? You can see the book. Set up the fire.
They can see it.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't put the books out for y'all, she sent them, but I figured it ain't my business to give you the books. Cause I was too chicken to fly on the
And
plane
you
that
know,
long.
I just want to know, like for Louisianans, I know we weren't taught a whole lot. No, we weren't taught anything about Galvez in school.
But we have a street over there in New Orleans named Galvez.
We do,
And we don't know
a
nothing about the
whole-
governor there.
We have a little town called Galvez. However, this was one of the major exhibits in Spain.
Now, what I want y'all hear, she didn't say this is out the library. This is the major exhibits. She went to the War Department and got stuff that you know nobody didn't fake it out.
Mhm.
Okay? The video sending fire for me, Anadia, or the show. But you have a lot of fire just went by. Okay. These are the
It's
books.
federal.
I think they want
Federal.
closer to
Closer to the
yeah, to the camera. Hold it up where they can probably see.
Now, don't let nobody cut, paste, and sell you this for $19.95.
No. And this is
If y'all see somebody doing that, say you're a lie, you trying to cut and paste, and you find out the books from the restaurant called Cookin with Chief, her chefs, and all of them people.
But they can't ask for their local libraries to.
But y'all need to ask your libraries, get some of them dirty books out, and we need these books going in. Just the way we're gonna get the truth back. Okay, I see. Send me some fire if y'all agree. This is the best way to get the history brought back to our communities of what Spain seen, said, and saw. This is the first step of correcting the Doctrine of Discovery. Y'all, I know y'all out there, we're gonna give her a hand and hear her and LaTroy, because I've been begging every time she went to a country, please go find it. But it was that one. It was the timing was right. So I'm gonna give her a hand. Amy, come on, y'all give her that hand. And y'all give them that file. We know we need these books. There's another, this here book here too, Natty. They need that one.
And tell her to pick one of her favorites.
All right, I'll tell they want you to pick one of your favorites, Natty, out the thing. Y'all know the Troy favorite. It look like a Christmas tree.
For me, I was excited about the maps.
Me too, Natty.
Because it had our family's name on it.
We're gonna let you tell that part. Okay, LaTroy, this one is, that's one of my favorite, is that map book.
Yeah.
They have stuff in there we ain't never heard of that should have been out. If y'all liking so far what we're doing and the stuff they brought home for you and the books you need to be getting into your local schools and library. Right now, there's a little thing that say books. I wanna see some fire and books going up.
Mm-hmm.
Fire and books. This is the way we're gonna change the curriculums. Bringing facts back, right?
And another one,
Fire and books.
this one told a story about how the Chahta lived, and it just melted my heart because it sounds a lot like what
That one went by so
what
fast.
we are.
Thank you, whoever did that. $50. Even gotta tell me the name. It shot by fast on my phone. Sharon gonna go back. It went by.
Let it just finish, 'cause I ain't.
Okay, well, I wanted to thank you. I'm not being rude.
Yeah.
I was into the book. Sorry.
So this one talks about, there's a story that it talks about how the Chahta lived and how they were a strong people, and how when the soldiers came in, you remember that part? The soldiers came in and they would shake hands, and it was like their arms went numb.
They were
Because they
strong.
were strong people. And another thing they said, the women worked just as hard as the men. The women worked just as hard as the men.
How did we dress?
They said everyone dressed in their own way.
So we wasn't
Everyone
running
dressed in
around
their
a
own way.
costume like people
No,
want to make it
now
look
we
like.
did do, no, it wasn't a costume, but we did do face paintings.
Yes, we
I mean, we do like makeup.
We do. And I still put my crescent moon every now and then.
Yeah.
Because the crescent moon means a lot to our people. Okay?
Hair long, men and women
Okay.
grew their hair long.
What kind of foods were they eating in Spain said?
What we eat now.
Called
The wild
fish,
game, the fish,
the vegetables.
the
Hunter
vegetables,
gatherer.
and they were experts at planting crops.
Hunting and gathering too.
Mm-hmm.
So when I read some of these things and I hear these people on this page talking, we didn't eat meat or we didn't eat this,
Yeah,
they not telling the truth, right?
no,
We had a variety
we did.
of food, yeah.
And on a few of the pages, I think when they said they saw us, was it in here that they said they saw the Negro? the Negro. Of course, in
Y'all got
Spanish,
that?
you know, the
We
Negro
was
is
Negro.
black.
Black. Say it again.
The Negro.
Okay, we was de Negro. So who get mad about the word Negro?
Yeah.
How you gonna prove you indigenous? You mad, and the first people that saw you said what?
They saw the Negro.
They saw the Negro. Now why are you insulted about it? They said you were black.
Mm-hmm.
The indigenous people were black is what Spain said. That's what she brought back.
And they separated Negro from the Africans, the slaves. They
That's-
separated the because there were slaves who were here that they had come over a little earlier than what was mentioned in here, but they made a distinction between the slaves and the Negroes.
Y'all got that?
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying, don't let people do to you. See, when I'm telling y'all, I told my children, don't get mad because somebody called you black. Don't get mad if they call you Negro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if we lose that identity, where do you fit? Where are you going to find yourself in history? That's what your history marked you as.
Yeah.
And then the reclassification kept happening and happening. Now, the last reclassification that y'all, a lot of y'all are accepting is African American. That's reclassification.
And that's what they called them. The esclavos africanos.
Did y'all get that?
African slaves.
It's in Spanish. You want to know what?
Oh, it's in Spanish.
Yeah, all the books are in Spanish.
All the books in Spanish. Hold that up, LaTroy. Let them see.
Yeah,
That's why I
it's
put the
in
books
the
on the
word I
table
was
when she
talking
came.
But you can't order a translator.
about.
Order your translator after you get the book and sit down and don't alter the word. Over to the pie.
Over, right
Keep
there.
doing like his brother-in-law. Don't worry about it. We'll find it somewhere on the trunk.
You might.
Right
Y'all
there,
see?
right there.
Everything is in Spanish on this table.
But you can order a translator.
Yeah.
We not gonna say
LaTroy
anything.
got him all kind of translators and magnifying glass. He was serious.
Yeah.
Okay?
When you go to Spain, the maps are huge.
That's what I'm just saying. Okay,
Okay.
look, okay, we're going over here to you.
Oh.
We brought you a little bit to work with.
Oh, y'all blew the maps up.
Oh, yeah. That's what they said.
Nah, we don't be playing.
You can
Well,
finish the story.
Okay. So since you're here, this is where this is where we were supposed to go. West Florida, the Doctrine of Discovery, and how we got in it. This is where they start. Now, we were doing this before she went to Spain. So here's the beginning. We was gonna start in the beginning. And the beginning is right there. The Pope and the Doctrine of Discovery, which next month we're gonna get into that. We will have the Catholic Church giving us the update. Then under Kevin Davis' administration, I was telling her to go over to France and get me that stuff.
And we
Cause
did.
France-
We did go to France.
went to France.
And we were in that
And
museum.
there is
for
a
like-
record of France that I showed y'all. Go up to the top a little bit, LaTroy, so they can read that little bottom part again. All right. So Kevin Davis was working with us because he saw, even in France, they said Bonfouca was the head of the nation. Not no Philadelphia, Mississippi, or none of that stuff. Because that's another topic with some more maps. I done told y'all the story. I'm gonna pass this one to Nadia because she called me when she went to the museum. And being that I gave birth to her, I know when she's fired up. I'm like, Amy, Dad, she's finally a civil rights leader. She crossed over. Amy said, what's she doing? I said, listen. Amy said, that's Nadia. And I said, yeah, that's Nadia. See, and if y'all don't understand, for Nadia to go to that level, she sees something. I want her to tell me what she felt. I blew this part up right here that you got stuck on. This is what she sent to me. She sent me this. I want her to tell me, LaTroy, you can hold it where they can see it while she can tell you what made her act the way she acted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want Charlie to tell?
She can let them see it.
Then we can't
Okay.
see her, then we
Yeah,
can't see her.
now I want Nadia to get up a little bit. Now show me what you was hollering
Oh,
on that
that's
phone.
perfect right there.
Amy said that's perfect right there. Nadia, what made you holler on that map?
So
Nadia don't holler, y'all. She dignified. That's how Ema and me be doing all that junk.
So when we walked into the museum the second time, because something kept pulling us into that particular museum, and I knew I had to go back
Okay.
because okay, that's good. I knew I had to go back. We had gone to a couple of other museums, and the lines were long, so we decided to, go to another one. If you go to Spain, there's like a whole street of museums, which is our dream. So
Yeah.
we were like, we'll just go to another museum. So there was another museum about 3 blocks away, and it was the Naval Museum. And we were like, well, you just never know what you may find in there, And of course, you had already sent us on a mission, but we thought the mission was at a different place.
Yeah, that's right.
So when we went in, I knew we were in the right place immediately.
Why?
Because when we walked in, the lady handed us a brochure. First off, it was free. And the lady said free.
Free.
You don't even have to pay for this knowledge.
Now, the free knowledge is where the real stuff
But we
was.
donated, yeah. The lady handed us a brochure. She asked us where we're from, and we said Louisiana. And she said, oh, we have an exhibit dedicated just for Louisiana.
That did it.
And I said, this is it.
This is what I'm looking for here.
So we started on the bottom floor, because there's more than one floor. And we started looking at maps and ships and things like that. And I'm like, wow, these are a lot of great maps.
So you got to see those schooners too over there.
Everything, like anything that they used to explore during that time. They showed, the ships, how they were made, all of that.
Okay.
But that wasn't the interesting part. We saw people who we recognized some of the names from America, of course. And we took a little break. We left, and I said, I'm coming back. And so we took a break, had lunch, went back before the museum closed, because y'all, we stay in these museums for like 6-7 hours. So we went back, and the Louisiana section was on the upper floor. And the moment you turn the curve around the corner, the wall turns blue. Everything else in the museum is white, but for some reason this wall is blue. And when you get there, the very first thing you see is a huge, huge map. And when you see the map, and I walked up to it and I was like, that's Chahta's. And then when we looked down and saw Bonfouca, I wanted to scream.
No, you screamed, because you screamed on the phone.
Troy almost knocked the stuff over in the museum because we were trying to take pictures, and we didn't move for the longest time because the maps are so intricate. They're like floors from ceiling to floor, and you could just comb through and find different things that we had been taught. And things are mixed up. Tribes aren't where they were according to these maps that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things are mixed up. Some tribes aren't even mentioned on there that we have in Louisiana now, but a good bit of them are mixed up. But what really blew my mind was when you kept telling me to look for anything West Florida, right? Well, it was Chahta's, and it was everything from Florida to the Mississippi River.
Did y'all get that? Did y'all hear what she saw over there?
From Florida to the Mississippi River
You
was
heard that,
Chahta.
Waldo?
Miss Waldo, did you get it? There was no Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. It was West Florida. And this man here was the one trying to secure the last of them. And she went to Spain to
And the only split off they had was the Chickasaws.
Did y'all get that? So stop telling people that the head of the nation of the Chahta or Choctaw people was in Philadelphia, Mississippi, or any of those areas.
It wasn't.
Because Spain said it is where?
It was from what we consider Florida all the way to the Mississippi River.
And on here they had their nerve to mark where the chief lived in Bonfouca.
And just to let you know, in one of the books, it tells you that the chief's name was Chahta and Chickasaw, and they split.
Two brothers.
Yeah.
Y'all got it? The two brothers.
Yeah, they came out the same tribe.
Same tribe, Muskogee.
Mm-hmm.
So now how did they get in Oklahoma? A Choctaw tribe, Chickasaw tribe, a Muskogee tribe, and a Creek tribe, but all that was the same people.
And we saw the evolution of the name change too.
Yeah,
So
I
as
should
you
tell them about
read
it.
the books,
When did
it
you
started
find
off
Chahta?
Chahta. It started coming later on in some of these books, but that wasn't until the French, I believe, who came in.
Because
It was
I'm
either
watching
English
it
or
even
French.
with my research. You watch them
Yeah.
coming from the north. Look like they're coming
The
out
English?
of Canada.
Yeah.
Look like that word and terminology.
Yeah, but it just changed over time. You saw them change like one letter at a time.
Mhm.
One letter at a time from Chahta, and then eventually.
And I remember
evolved
Grandpa
into
saying the
Chahta.
Choctaw and the Chahta was two different people, and they took our
Mhm.
name. And that's what I used to tell you about. So
Yeah.
I raised my children telling them they stole the wrong name.
Yeah, that's not. That
And
was
Andrew
nowhere.
Jackson did that.
There was no Choctaw
Right.
mentioned on their papers.
So how
anywhere.
everybody was Choctaw and running around. My grandma said I'm Choctaw, and we was running around saying we Chahta, and people was laughing at us because we were saying we were Chahta.
Mhm.
You remember, and I'm gonna call names. Chantel, her mom grew up knowing that she was Chahta, and I watched Chantel tell her mama after they started getting around the federally recognized European-looking tribes, they would put pressure on her even when she come to meeting. It's not Chahta. The proper word is Choctaw. And she messed around and let her children make her change
Mhm.
what she was brought up to know who she was.
Mhm.
And I'll tell y'all this. Chantel's mom is my cousin. Chantel is my cousin. That's not one of them fake ones. Chantel is my cousin. Her mom was very much involved with the tribe,
Mhm.
and her mom's grandmother was raised with my grandfather. My grandfather's dad raised her grandmother, who was a twin. So Chantel really is Chahta. I can't take who she is from her. I don't know what happened to her getting caught with crooks, but she really is Chahta. Okay. Her mom is no longer with us, but she's for real. And then a lot of times now, people don't understand. Grandpa had told us how people come around and they try to take this stuff and take your land.
Mhm.
And you know, our people was very quiet and hushy. And maybe God had to let me see that because I was trying to help everybody, you know,
Mhm.
letting people come to our meetings. You know that, LaTroy. But then now I know what Grandpa and them meant.
Mhm.
When you bring these people in, they get jealous or envious or something, and then they try to destroy us. And then that's what you're seeing happening in history going backwards. We had black Europeans and white Europeans coming after us. So it's not about the color of the skin either. It's not about a political party. It's just the heart of that person that you're dealing with. And I heard somebody had on there, well, they got a family squabble and we don't want to get involved. Listen, y'all, ain't none of my family. I helped people that was Indians, non-Indian. My mom did it. My grandfather did it. Stop telling them people, those people that faked and said they was part of this tribe is my family. Because they didn't grow up with us. They not from here. Tell them do their genealogy. And if they can show me they from Bonfouca, they'll be doing good. I didn't know those people. I didn't know Roderick until 2003. I remember Nadia, you was one of the ones in PC said, what's wrong with Roderick? Why is he doing this on your page?
Mhm.
And I'll tell y'all, look, don't worry about it, you know, da-da-da-da-da. I didn't know this man was doing this because I wasn't trying to keep up with that. I was being nice to everybody. Now I'm just gonna straight call y'all fake.
We want more cake.
No.
Wait, we're gonna get the more cake. But you keep wanting cake, I want you to get the rest of the cake. Because to get the cake, the real cake, you gotta know the tricks of the devil that's used to block you from going to your next level. What if I would have failed for all of what been said in the past? We crazy. We from Bonfouca. We out the woods. We on gravel roads. And if we would have let that take our spirit, and then I didn't have the spirit to keep enduring, and able to give you the spirit to keep enduring, we would not be able to sit here and do this. Okay? I want you to be able to do this. The cake is this, the truth. And I want y'all to get that. First, I want y'all to look at these books. We're going to put these books on our listing so y'all can add it. So these be books that you incorporate into your school system. You need to tell your churches, especially if you're of color. Every church of color. Boom, boom, boom. Chief said, tell your pastor, pick up a collection and buy these books and put them in the church. So nobody be ashamed of the word Negro. That's the first thing we gotta jump, being ashamed of the word Negro or black. So, okay, whoever that be out there calling or texting me, well, I'm not black. Well, we don't know where you fit in. Because either you're Chahta, Tchefuncta, you're described as black. So if you're saying you these things, black is your foundation in here. Not African American. Come on now. They made you say where you and where you come from. So somebody else, them developers today, see the developers today, coming to get your stuff that you too shame to stake claim to. Now they say she went to Spain, and Spain said what my grandpa taught me. This was our land.
And it wasn't a part of the Louisiana Purchase.
Thank you.
The Spanish told our people to not cut a deal with the.
Say that louder.
The Spanish told our people not to cut a deal with those other.
And our grandpa tried to help Andrew Jackson, because they were going to kill Andrew Jackson. They come down there with sticks. Being that we had guns, powder, from our trade with France and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Chahta people right here, led by this man, that made this become United States of America in West Florida. This man.
What amazed me is that our family was able to communicate with the Spanish during that time.
That's right.
We're talking about different languages.
Well, Grandpa said, well, I know my grandpa, I grew up with it, y'all. So he could speak French, Spanish, Portuguese, which he called Geechee, and then he could speak Chahta, which then if you could speak Chahta, which is Muskogee language, so he spoke the Muskogee language, and he spoke Cherokee, which was a different language from the Chahta. My Uncle Rock and Uncle Earl and all of them, they could speak German, French, Spanish. Y'all get what I'm saying? Chahta. Now you could tell me, in my mom in them time, they could sit in the room and hold a conversation and everybody just be doing it. Okay, guys, when my mama died with all this medicine that I'm telling y'all be careful with, Nadia's sitting here, that opioid medicine they gave her because she had artificial veins in her leg, injured on from the bleach company. The medicine they gave her and put on for too long caused early dementia, medical dementia. Before people was understanding about stuff like this, I was fighting it. And come to find out, my mama ended up a victim of it. When she reverted out of language, she did not stop talking. She just reverted to a language that nobody in the hospital could understand. She went back to her first language because my mom went to Indian school. Indian school was to break you from speaking your language, okay, and make you speak English. So when she went into her dementia phase, she went back to her mother tongue before she phased to where she couldn't talk. So what I'm trying to tell y'all, it's been a trick. I mean, while y'all wasting time, some people out there, take your Spanish class. Or like Aima said, if you don't have time, get this doggone translating programs. Get you some Spanish books, get the facts. But one thing we do want to do is have pride in who we are. I always was proud, and I'm still proud. Can I ask y'all a question? Then, Amy, what was that question you wanted else? I want to ask the audience a question.
Oh no, they're still they want a little more about.
We're gonna give a little more about I want to ask.
That was the only question.
I was gonna okay. I want to ask a question of y'all. Do y'all promise me y'all gonna start making lists of these books when we list them? Start asking your churches, your local library. What else now? Your universities. Anywhere where people are going for any type of education. These theology schools.
All of the correction too. Like I said, be intentional. When you see them say Choctaw, it's truly it was not. The initial name was not Choctaw.
Did y'all hear? So I'll move. They got the people talking about what need to come out the library. We need on this channel a move on what need to be going into the libraries.
You have a quick question. They said, what about the French books? And that's.
Well, Nadia didn't pick them up yet. She went.
We went, and that's the thing. Most of the things we found in France, we went to Paris and Versailles. We went to some of the bigger museums. We spent hours. A lot of what was connected in France went right back to New Orleans. But remember, New Orleans was a part of the Louisiana Purchase.
But
We
we
were
weren't.
not.
And that's why I
So
keep
that's
wanting
where
people to
it gets
understand.
different.
Our main records is what this Spain say, because we were not a part of Louisiana Purchase. And everything on the other side of the river at one time was different from West Florida. But New Orleans became the first thing brought into the Louisiana Purchase, which then y'all have to realize when I say when you cross that lake,
Mhm.
you are now in West Florida. Y'all with me? We were still West Florida going all the way over to Pensacola.
Mhm.
And we were still under the leadership of Pierre José. Okay? He helped fought the battle of 1812. He helped to win it. And then Andrew Jackson between 1812
Mhm.
and 1829 and 1830, because it really started a little earlier than that, but finalized by 1830. Now he didn't renege on what he promised him, and now you have an Indian removal. And the part where people saying is where the Choctaw Nation originate from was not even a part of the West Florida, nor was it part
Mhm.
of this area that he was talking about. Those areas had already been absorbed when we were still below the 31st parallel. Y'all with me, man?
All of these new, I see someone said the new names as you read, as a part of the survival when they were pushing the natives more west, a lot of tribes did kind of combine and form like new tribes. So of course they took on new names as they moved further out west. They were either forced out or they were.
Okay, I want to correct that. No, the Creole people in Louisiana is not Chahta. That is not
It's
even
two
what a
different
Louisiana
names.
Creole is.
Yeah.
That's different. That's the stuff that we want y'all to get straight. Creole has nothing to do with meaning you are Chahta. You can be Creole and don't have one drop of Indian blood.
Mhm.
Okay? That's some stuff we're going to talk about, but that was a good point. And Amy, remember that one in Phoenix, because Phoenix, we're going to do that Creole show too. Okay?
Mhm.
So your Creoles mostly was your black Europeans who was owning slaves and conquering and trying to push the Indians out too. So we need to get that fixed. All the time, light ain't right, okay? See, that's when we done got caught in the discrimination of thinking light, bright, dang near white. Y'all ever heard that? Those were the people who could have passed the paper bag tests and the hair comb tests and all of this stuff. That's not Indian. It has nothing to do with being Indian. And Spain can tell you about that, not only here, but there's some stuff that's been translated that I did read and that I had professors working with me on. Spain was being, like she told you, Spain divided the slaves from the Indians who they called Negro. They were not calling the slaves Negro.
Mhm.
Okay, Negro don't mean you're a descendant of slaves. But we allowed a president to take Negro off of everything out of ignorance because people didn't understand that was your marker in history. And people wanted to get rid of it. They made you so prejudiced against it, you didn't want it to be thrown in your direction. And that was the history that Spain backed up. Now people ask me, well, how can I find my records? Go back and go through all of those reclassifications that you have allowed to happen. Find yourself back in a Negro zone. Why they don't want you to be a Negro? They done turned you against it like it was something taboo. And that's what you were documented first in history. If y'all got what I'm saying on that part, can y'all do this for me so I know y'all understand Negro is not a disease. A Negro is an identity. And if you hear me, send me some fire. And all of y'all can put it in there. Negro is not a disease. It's an identity identifier. And they identified the Negro. You can't find nothing else. That is the base of 1493.
You got a question about are you gonna do a book list? Well, I guess you could tell them.
Yes, we are.
Be having
Yes,
a
we
book
are.
Club soon
Yes, we are.
with French.
I already have a book club that we have been doing amongst ourselves for years, and we've been asked to expand that to the our community, our new family community out here. We're gonna do that. We're a reading family, okay? We like museums and books. And when I evacuate when it storms, I pack up my books like I'm packing up $3 million. Books to us is valuable, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
When Nadia was a kid, a little bitty kid, a baby, little baby, the schoolhouse in Alton would throw the books in the dumpster. And person would wait for the end of the year so they could when they throw all the books in the dumpster. Person go climb in the dumpster, get them books out and bring them out and give them to the children in the community. He said, y'all need to read these books. Person really saw the waste in the school board money throwing them books in the dumpsters when you could have gave them to the children at the end of school to take home. So person would climb in there and get the books out. I box them up, we bring them home, and then we would disperse the books out. Now you start reading so young, she don't even know when she first started reading. She have cousins that tell her, we were scared of you when you was a kid. We was trying to play and you was reading. That was before they had My Baby Can Read. My baby could read. All these young people coming up with now, we've been here, and I can get proof from what My Baby could read. So what I'm saying about that dumpster, if you gotta get the books out the dumpster, create a library within your house. Some books. Help that baby read. And even though you only listen to me this long, I don't want you to do this all the time because you gotta have some time to help them children get them books and read. Stop depending on just the school teacher. The school teacher are not the parent. They are not responsible to teach your children their identity. The police is not supposed to be the chastiser. So we gotta get our house in order.
I think they misunderstand the whole terminology when we said Negro. We're not saying that you need to call yourself Negro, but
No, I'm not telling you call
that's
yourself
how
that.
they identified us when they saw us for the first time. They saw the Negro.
And that's the base of as far back as you can go to see what you were identified as first. That don't mean that's who you are.
Mm-mm.
But that is the facts. And the white Indian, the Asian Indians cannot prove there was Negro. Do y'all get that? Go back to Negro and you'll prove who you are. The Chahta was called Negro, meaning they look like this. That's all you're saying.
Yeah.
But when they erase that from your records, how you gonna go back and prove you the person that stems from that?
Mm-hmm. Because they're giving us this Eurocentric picture of what it means to be Native American now.
Yes. And that junk come with that Bill Cody thing and that Creole Wild Wild West. We're gonna do that show. Y'all just gotta hang with us. Let's do this. Yeah, this restaurant, when we serving up, you just not gonna eat one time and don't want to come back no more. You gotta keep coming back, baby. We have different dishes we putting on the table. Now, I know y'all hungry for all the truth at one time, but it takes time to cook and give you facts. This ain't no scrambled eggs we fixing over here. Okay? And rolling it up in a tortilla. We cooking the real thing in
So
here.
we have to let it work. Is it Muteo?
Yeah, that's right. That's what my
That's
grandma
what
used to
they
say.
brought
Now they want you to hear what we used to say to them because my grandmother said, I cook where it have to meet y'all. Now don't y'all take no meat y'all. I just holler at meat y'all and you don't know what it means, so let me break it down to you. Meat y'all was my grandmother cooked on a wood stove. And everything had to be done slowly. See, everybody want pressure cooking. She wanted everything cooked slowly. And while people of color cook red beans on Monday, did y'all know that one? They cook red beans on Monday because that's laundry day. Y'all with me? That's why Monday in Louisiana is red bean day. That's laundry day. So if you talk about Monday is your red bean day, you must do laundry that day too. And you ain't out there with no rubberboard doing this.
Somebody said you do the Creole drop.
Okay? So, Monday was red bean day because you could put the pot on the stove, you bring it to a boil, then at a certain point, you go in there on your wrench time, out there wrenching in the tub, and you pull that pot to the back and you let it mite-yo. And that's what now they're letting you know. I like to do that. Now, what do mite-yo mean? Let it simmer, cook slow,
Come together.
marinate, lock it in. So we meet tell yo over here. Amy say, you want a gumbo? I cook gumbo, but I cannot cook a 2-hour gumbo. We don't cook them kind of.
No.
Man, we gotta make that root just right. Everything cook slow. Amy say she be going to get us something to eat. We all do this. We have to go get something to eat
I feel like
so we can cook.
It's about to go on the back burner right now. We had 2 hours or something.
So we fixing to pull it back a little bit. We ain't over.
It's on the back burner.
We gotta let it me tell y'all. And y'all go back and watch the show. Thank everyone for who contributed. And I'm saying y'all thank them because I'm thanking them too. But you tell them the best is yet to come. We might get squeeze another hour out of Nadia before she leaves. But do this for me. Remember this. We're gonna bring you LaTroy tomorrow a little bit. So we're gonna do this. Peace we need. Love I'm gonna leave with you. Unity we must have. And America is gonna die if we don't heal this land. The healing starts within us, within our heart, and within our minds, and the way we see and think. Body, mind, and soul have to be reorganized to balance. We are out of balance with nature. See you again later. I might give you a treat tomorrow. Who knows? But today, I know you didn't eat real good. Okay? See you next time. Come, we're gonna take us out with some music. Subscribe. All 100 now. They're gonna be rolling up in the. I can see them. Maybe lighten it up.